Started here in just a moment. I'm just putting some things together. And let's see how many have joined us already.
2.
Good evening, guys.
It's just me and you. Look, it just
Yeah. So I got two people, just me and you. Cynthia's on. Hello, hello. How y'all guys doing tonight? I'm gonna get started here in just a moment. We still got some people signing in, so I just want to give a few moments before I get going. I hope everybody's had a great day today. Looking forward to going back to church, reopening our building again. So I just want to cover some things tonight on tonight's live stream. Just want to cover some things and kind of just get everybody ready for tomorrow's service.
I have plugged in. It says it's in battery saver mode.
It's disconnected. So I'm guessing I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to have to be over here, plug in and unplug this. If you pull on it, it's going to come out again. Yeah, it's going to come out of the way itself. Hello, good evening, guys. We're just getting on. So far, we got 4 or 5 people on, so I'm waiting till we gather a little more before we get started. Let's stop streaming.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Who knows?
It's not stopped streaming.
My phone it did.
It's not stopped. It's on.
All right, back up.
Somebody must be seeing this.
Hello, good evening, ladies. I'm just waiting a few moments for a little more people to sign in before I just start going over everything. I don't want to take too much time, but I just want to spend a few minutes this evening just to kind of prepare everybody for services tomorrow, which are going to be very exciting services.
How was your weekend? it might be buffering if everybody, like, if all of us are watching at the same time.
Yeah, Amber's saying it's buffering. Mine is buffering too.
So that means we gotta figure out why. Oh, I see why. One drive is open, that's why. Let me turn it off and then it'll be good. There was 3 PDFs. Do you have them?
Yeah, I see them. Let's see, frequently asked questions, open checklists,
For attendees.
and yeah, attendees. So what was the purpose for doing all 3 of them? Because I don't want to read all 3 of them.
Well, I guess the one you need is for the attendees.
Yeah, the attendees.
But you wanna let them know probably stuff from the other ones out.
Okay, all right. You really are in a cough. Whatchamacallit right now. Yeah, it's buffering.
I have to, I'm trying. Wow, this one drive. Should start working in a minute. I can't tell when it's working. Because you're not talking, we can't tell if it's like stuck or not.
It's stuck.
Oh.
I could tell because I'm moving and it's not, it's stuck.
See what extra is saying. I'm gonna check on the computer.
Hello. Thank you for being patient. It looks like we're missing quite a few folks. So we're gonna wait here just for a little bit longer. We have 10 people on.
Maybe text it to them.
Did y'all guys get alerts today? You can answer on the chat if y'all guys been getting some alerts
I just sent one.
earlier today. All right, looks like we're working now. Okay.
Still says it's okay.
I think it's starting to get a little bit better. Sorry about that technical difficulty. Thanks for being patient, guys. Just so that you know, I'll probably repeat this again later on because I'm sure people will join us a little later. Melissa got her test result, and this was her third time testing, so it came back positive, and she found that out yesterday. And me and my daughter Rihanna are still waiting for our results. As of yet, we haven't received them. So I'm praying that I will be in church with y'all tomorrow. I'm excited to head back to church. If not, then we gotta just roll with the punches like we've been doing. But I'm just letting you know our status right now. For me and Rihanna, we have not got back our results yet. So as of right now, Pastor and Evangelist Richard Valerio will be preaching in the morning and in the evening. And Brother Edward is going to be basically running the services. And everybody do their part, you know. Everybody do their part, and that'll be great. And I just need y'all guys to be ready, because not only we're going to have church, some of y'all guys are going to have to just carry a little bit bigger load than what you're used to carrying. And I know y'all can do it. So we need you to step up and do that now until we can get some kind of normality back. So, you know, it's going to be 1 month since we've had services. Just to think that 4 weeks have gone by pretty fast. As you know, the last live stream we did is when we had to announce that we got to shut our services down. We gave a COVID alert live stream, and I began to explain we're going to have to be live streaming our church services. But now it looks like we've turned a corner. Many of y'all have gotten tested. Thank you so much, by the way, for being on top of that. Going out there, getting tested. So, you know, it means getting up early, finding out who's doing the free testing. I know it's kind of a hassle, but thank you for doing that. It just shows, you know, your desire to want to just get back to some to church services, because that's what it's going to take. And many of you, I think the majority of our church has come back negative results, which is good. So many of you are going to be able to be in service tomorrow and see each other, worship God together. I'm sure it's going to be a powerful worship service, and it's very important that y'all contend for that. And okay, so well, it's about 8:16. I thought we would have way more people on our live chat or on our stream, but it looks like only 10 right now are tuning in. So I'm just gonna have to go ahead and get started and do my best to try to just convey something to y'all guys about starting our services again. So the first part I want to talk about is as we go back to reopen our services, we have to learn a lesson from our mistake in a sense. If we were honest, we probably didn't take a lot of things serious as we should have, as far as making sure we're careful about spreading the virus. We're not the only ones guilty of that. Our whole city is. If you've been watching the news or paying attention to the news, Corpus Christi's been making the news as the #1 city in Texas with the fastest spread. That's what's been going on for the last few weeks. I think yesterday Corpus dropped to #3. I think the Rio Grande Valley is also experiencing a huge surge. But we have to learn our lesson, guys. So before, we would, do our social distancing, and we, in the beginning we were doing okay, but like after about a month of that, you could tell we were getting really relaxed and people were starting to shake hands again and stuff. Obviously, we need to make sure we're not shaking hands. I would say don't even do a fist bump, just to make sure that nothing's being transmitted. So, so coming back, just right off the bat, we're gonna have to wear masks. Now, what we're gonna do as a church to kind of promote and to help the cause, because I'm not really big. I never was big on having a mask. That's why I didn't have a mask before. We went out and got some masks for you. These are complimentary of our church. This is the mask we're going to give to you when you come to church tomorrow. This mask is very lightweight. It's got space in here where you can breathe. It's got a nice logo of the Door Church and a scripture. And we're going to give that out to each one of you for the church, free of charge. It's just a way to promote it. Obviously, when it comes to the children, what we're asking for you to do is when it comes to masks, they have to be 10 years old and up to wear a mask. So that's a safety issue, a possible safety issue. So if we give you a mask and you lose it, or you give it away or whatever, well, that's it. It's done. It's over. If you want one of these again, you're going to have to purchase it. And I believe, Melissa, what is the charge?
We're talking about it later.
Okay, right now we don't know the charge, but just don't lose it. We're giving you a free one to help promote the safety. Very nice, lightweight mask, good looking. It's like a church flyer on your face. So maybe you would want to sport that thing around. So that's going to be really nice. And it's very, very lightweight, easy to breathe in. I like them. So we're going to need to wear those. As far as the limitations, you wear your mask everywhere in the building. When you and your family, and when I say family, I'm talking about people you live with in the same house. Okay? Obviously, you should be sitting together. When you sit down, you can remove your mask to worship and to hear the sermon. As long as you're sitting with your family, there's 6 feet space between you and the next family or the next set of people, and social distance is being practiced. The moment you get up from your chair and you got to go to the bathroom or go somewhere, your mask has to go on. So that's the limitation. So when you're in your chair, the mask can come off, but anywhere else the mask stays on. So those are the limitations for the mask. And then when we dismiss our services, in the past, I would say y'all guys could fellowship over here or over there. As soon as service is over, we need to go. We need to leave. Don't hang out in the church building. And the ushers are going to dismiss you by families. So don't just get up all at once and just storm out and rush out. Just because I'm saying that when service is over, we can't fellowship in the building, doesn't mean everybody race out. It just means, okay, to make sure we're practicing social distancing and safety, we want to do that. So I have a couple of things I want to go over. See, we're 8:21 now, and I don't want to go over everything that's on this paper. There's actually 3 different papers, and we're going to actually post this on our website. It would be wise of you to check our website out later on this evening and just read over it. And it's just a checklist for churches and places of worship. There's also a
Just that. Just the
frequently asked questions that people would ask, and a checklist for church worship attendees, checklist for churches, places of worship. So I'm going to just go over the attendees. That's you and I attending church, and just go over just a few things. I'm not going to read all of it, but this comes from the CDC and the state of Texas. And, we're not here, and I want you to understand this, guys. We're not police officers. We're not trying to enforce the law. What we're trying to do is keep our church building a safe atmosphere. So first and foremost, before I go over this, if you have had COVID-19 in the last, just if you've had it, if you've been diagnosed with it, if you're from our church, you are a regular attendee in our church, you're in the ministry, or you just regularly attend, one or the other. I need to see either emailed or text me a picture of a negative test result saying that you no longer have COVID-19. I need to see that for myself. Obviously, common sense says you're doing that to help promote a safe atmosphere, because we actually have had people in our church that have not been diagnosed with COVID-19. I know the majority of us were diagnosed, but there's some people that never did get it. And we obviously don't want to expose them to that chance. We know how easy this stuff is caught. So that's the main reason you're thinking about others. By the grace of God, our church didn't experience any major sicknesses. I know Sister Amber did have some pneumonia and it did get a pretty severe. By the grace of God, she recovered. But we do have stories in our fellowship very close to us where people were sick of other things and didn't know it, and then the COVID exploited it. So we don't want that to happen in our church. We don't want someone to possibly almost die or die. It could be one of your loved ones. So let's think about that, okay? So I'm not trying to make anybody scared or promote fear. It's just we want to make sure our church is safe for the regulars, for visitors, for other people in our church who regularly serve in the congregation. So we want to think about that, okay? So obviously, if you never got COVID, then you don't have to worry about or giving me any proof or any test. You don't have it. However, when you come to the church, the ushers are going to take your temperature to check, to make sure you don't have any symptoms, but they're also going to ask you some questions about how you feel, okay? If they detect that you have, like if you're coughing, if you have shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, if you have chills, now they may or may not see that, I don't know. But if you complain of a headache or muscle pain, or you have a sore throat, say you come to church and you're all, hey, amen, hallelujah, and your throat's all scratchy, obviously that's a symptom, whether you would want to admit it or not. Loss of taste or smell, which you would only know. Diarrhea, which only you would know. But if any of these symptoms are there, or if you have close contact with a person whose lab confirmed has had COVID-19, and it says feeling feverish or a measured temperature greater than or equal to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. If any of those things go on, we're going to screen people and ask those questions. Obviously, the questions that only you can answer, we'll ask. The visible ones, the ushers are the ones who will be in charge of asking those. If they see you coughing, they see you got shortness of breath, if they see that you're got a fever, then we're going to have to ask you at that point you're not going to be able to join services in the building. You're going to have to watch the live stream from your home or somewhere else, simply because we are trying to protect the rest of the people in the congregation. I'm sure you understand that, and I would imagine many of you would appreciate that. So that's going to be a little different. The ushers will have full authority to be able to tell you that, and I'm sure, being that you're saved and you love Jesus and you love your church and you love everybody else, you'll comply without any problems. But by the grace of God, hopefully nobody's got that, right? That's what we're believing, that no one has those issues. Everybody's going to feel good, look good. You're going to be cool as a cucumber when they check your temperature. So that's what we're hoping for. But we're letting you know. So when it comes to, I'm just going to read a few things here. When it comes to social distances, we got to keep at least 2 empty seats or 6 feet separation between parties in any row, except as follows. 2 or more members of the same household can sit adjacent to one another with 2 seats or 6 feet separation, empty on either side. 2 individuals who are not members of the same household, but who are attending together, can sit adjacent to one another with 2 seats or 6 feet separation, empty on either side. So obviously we've set up our seating for that. So we've already experienced that part of it. What we haven't experienced is the ushers asking us questions about how we feel, and they have, the ushers are going to have to make the observation whether we're healthy or not. So those are some things that you need to find out. Also, some common sense stuff. You got to wash and disinfect hands upon entering the church. So we're going to set something up outside the door where that can happen, okay? We're going to set something up where that can happen. I lost my train of thought. So you would want to make sure you are washing hands, you are sanitizing, okay? Individuals who are 65 years or older are at higher risk with COVID-19. The state and the CDC agree. Avoid contact within 6 feet with these individuals. If they're 65 and older, they should practice staying at home as much as possible. Obviously, we have some people in our church that feel very uncomfortable about coming. That is totally fine. Then you need to watch the live stream. That's fine. I'm okay with that. You don't have to rush back. I'm not going to look down upon you, and I would imagine nobody else will. I will say that if you're going to watch live stream, though, it's very important that because of the whole issue of needing to be in fellowship, you're going to need to probably do some things that you may or may not be already doing. You need to learn how to take notes, write the main text, and follow the points. As you're taking notes, point 1, point 2, and that's to help internalize the preaching in your heart. You may or may do that already, so I may be telling you something that you already practice, but those things are going to help you, and I'm going to want to hear from you, a phone call or something, just to make sure that you are doing okay, because obviously one of the great reasons why we're coming back together in church is because the whole element of fellowship and the atmosphere that when God's people get together, that is much needed in our spiritual life. So those are just some basic things. Carry hand sanitizer, use it regularly while at church, and be very wise about who you hang around with. Now, don't get the mindset that if you've tested and the results have come back negative, now you're just going to go just fellowship with anybody without using any discernment. Be very wise. I'm not a doctor, but what it's been said by doctors is that if you've had it before, you may not catch it as easy, but that doesn't mean you can't catch it. So it would be a bummer to get a negative test result and then 2 weeks later you get it again. So try to avoid that. Be wise about who you hang around with. There is a segment of people in our city that have the symptoms, they're afraid to get tested because they don't want to be told that they got it. Obviously, I have my own opinions about that. You're not helping people by doing that. You're the one that's spreading it. So, so be very, very wise. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of the solution. So that's what we're just trying to do in our church. So that's pretty much what we're doing in our church differently. And if you have questions, basic questions that I could field, you could type it in. But if you have more detailed questions, I would want you to call me after this. My wife is waving at me right now.
How we're gonna sanitize more often now.
Okay, my wife wanted me to mention to y'all guys that the sanitizing is going to happen more often. I remember her telling me that during the services, we're going to have a crew go into the bathroom, I believe every 15 minutes, sanitize the bathroom. Doorknobs and things of that nature are going to be sanitized in the building during the services. So we're obviously going to need you to step up who are helping with the cleaning of the church in those areas. So let's keep that in mind about what it's going to take, guys. And just some things that the state has said. I want to touch right here. This is a letter to churches or places of worship. Health protocol for serving your attendees. It says, I'm to strongly encourage the at-risk population to watch or participate in service remotely. It says, I'm to designate an area inside the facility reserved for the at-risk population or offer a service for at-risk population attendees only.
Which is online.
Which is our live stream. That's what we're doing. I need to ensure proper spacing between attendees. Keep at least 2 empty seats. 6 feet separation between parties in any row, except as follows, which I mentioned before, and I'll mention again. 2 or more members of the same household can sit adjacent to one another with 2 seats or 6 feet separation empty on either side. Minimum standard health protocols. 2 individuals who are not members of the same household who are attending together can sit adjacent to one another with 2 seats or 6 feet separation empty on either side. Alternate rows between attendees, every other row left empty. Okay, and I'm to train all employees and volunteers on appropriate cleaning and disinfection, hand hygiene, and respiratory etiquette. Okay, so remember, the mask is what's going to be incorporated. I said at the beginning of the live stream that we're going to supply you with a mask that says the Door Christian Church and a scripture. This is not going to be of any charge to you. This is just our way of saying welcome back, and we had to invest a little money to get these done, but it's also a good way for us to outreach. And if you lose it, we're not going to give you another one. So don't lose it. If you give it away, we'll just remember that we're not going to replace what you gave away. So that's how that's going to work. We're going to supply these. So the mask, and then the ushers screening you, asking you some questions about your health, and you yourself. Now, obviously, when it comes down to what you know about yourself, you're going to have integrity. Okay, so only you know if you got diarrhea. All right, and really and truly, we don't want to know, but you know. Only you know if you have muscle pain or a headache, if you got chills. Those are the symptoms, by the way. What we can observe, or what the ushers can observe, is if you're coughing or if you have shortness of breath. They can observe if you have a fever of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, greater than or equal to. So that's what is here on our protocol. Okay, it says do not allow volunteers with new or worsening signs listed above to return until you have been checked, basically. We're not your workplace. I'm not trying to enforce workplace standards. These standards are set by the state to us to help us as a church. All right. I wonder. Okay, I see a question, Becky. Are we back to doing altar calls in our seats? Yes, we are.
We wanted to do masking tape, I just wrote it on there,
Where's that gonna be?
on the altar, 2 rows.
You know what, Becky? Me and my wife were talking about this, and I forgot what I said, but it's a good question. So how are we gonna work this out? Who's gonna do it?
In the morning, you could ask everyone.
Okay, what we're gonna try to do, and I don't know if we can do this, because it's 8 o'clock, or gonna be 9 o'clock at night, and I haven't asked Brother Edward yet. But Brother Edward, if you're listening, I would need you to take a tape measure, go into the church building, and go with some blue masking tape, the painter's tape, because if you use the Gorilla tape or a strong adhesive, it'll damage the carpet. But basically mark out every 6 feet where somebody can go to the altar and kneel. So basically, altar space will be limited because there's going to be 6 feet, 6 gaps of 6 feet. So just be mindful of that. We're going to try that. I do believe it's important to go to the altar. We want it to be open to you, but I think if we can do that, keep a 6 feet social distance, it should work out. I think even if we do that, if we mark where you can go to the altar at, I think there should be enough altar space, unless a lot of people go to church tomorrow that we don't expect, and they all answer the altar. So just keep that in mind. So Edward, after this is done, give me a call and see if we can get that done at the church building. I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier to you. Okay, but good question, Becky. All right, is there any other questions out there that I can field? Simple questions.
Nursery.
My wife said something about nursery. There is no nursery. So you're going to have your children with you. If you have your children 10 years and older, they need to have a mask. 10 years older, we're asking that they would have a mask. All right. All right. If you see somebody missing from this live stream, please send them a text. All right. So we don't want this. What we don't want as a church is for this to be a big distraction. We want to somehow get back to church and be safe, practice all these standards, but still don't be distracted by it. So I don't want to have in your mind that, every step you take, you got to be worried. I want you just to kind of, just think it through. Just don't be hasty. Think before you get up. If you're going to go to the bathroom or if you're going to go somewhere, put on your mask. When you're in your chair, if you can remove it, you don't have to. And if you want to keep your mask on, keep it on. Okay? Let's see. Rick Alvarado's asking a question. What about exiting the church after service? Okay, the ushers are to dismiss people row by row. We're not to all get up at once and leave. Okay, so when the service is done, the ushers will go to either the back row, the front row, and there you would dismiss each family. And obviously, if that family's together, they don't have to be 6 feet apart, but the people following behind them. So if you're an usher, keep that in mind, that you probably want someone in the front dismissing and another usher in the middle dismissing, but make sure they stay separated with distance. Cynthia says, what about food or coffee? No, we can't pass anything out like that. Obviously, if you bring your own coffee and you're drinking it, you could drink it outside. Obviously, if you're going to drink it in the building, you're going to have to remove your mask. So the only way you can remove your mask is if you're sitting in your chair. And in the sanctuary, you can have food or drink. Now, some people need to have a bottle of water sometimes. Maybe if they're elderly or they're taking something, a medication that's necessary. I permit people like that to bring in a bottle of water. I'm okay with that. But just to have, your goodies and your bag of chips and your drink with you in the sanctuary, no, we can't do that. We don't want, our sanctuary is not a movie theater, so, we gotta keep it tidy in there, okay? And upon entering the church, okay, Rick's asking a question, at entering the church, okay, so the ushers, instead of setting up in the, right there in the front door, you're gonna have to set up outside the front door, and you're gonna have to make sure people wear sanitizer, and you're gonna have to check their temperature right there outside the door before they enter in. So that has to change. Yes, Melissa?
A lot of our churches, they don't do prayer in the prayer room, they do it prayer in your seats, that way we don't have to worry about the 6 feet in the prayer.
Yeah, Melissa made a good comment. We have a prayer room, so we're not gonna open the prayer room. We're gonna ask that you would find your seat, wherever you're gonna sit, pray in your seat. So prayer is gonna be in the sanctuary, but in your seat. Okay, so we're not gonna be using the prayer room because that poses, obviously, since it's a smaller room and we're closer together there, so that can pose a big challenge. Okay. Let's see, what other questions are there? And I would say, Rick Alvarado, when we're done, give me a call, and I'll go over what the ushers are gonna do. You're gonna have so a little bit of help there, but I mentioned about 10 minutes ago some of the things that are gonna be different. But any other questions, basic questions that y'all may have out there? Now, obviously, if you got a deep question or a complicated question, give me a call. That way we can try to think through and I can give you the best answer that I can. All right. Let's see, I covered the attendees, places of worship, some frequently asked questions. So let's look at those in case maybe you had one of these. One of the frequently asked questions is, may churches now hold worship service in a church building? And as of right now, yes. Governor's orders on April 27th says it's an essential service. So thank God we don't live in California. They're actually saying for California that they can't have church in their buildings. So a lot of our fellowship churches are going to be doing it outside. So we're not at that point, and pray that we don't get at that point. Okay? Another question is, are churches subject to 25% capacity limitation related to restaurants? No, we don't have the same restriction that restaurants have. Okay. Third question, what are the basic guidelines for seating and attendance? It's your space. Guidelines are keep at least 2 empty seats between family units and alternate rows between attendees. You can seat as many in your worship space as can be accommodated using these recommendations. Okay, look, we've got a couple other questions. Veronica Macia says, will there be prayer tomorrow morning at 10? Good question. Yes. The building will be open for prayer at 10 o'clock. But remember, don't go to your prayer room. Find your seat and pray in your seat in the sanctuary. Cynthia says, can we wear gloves? Yes, you can. You can wear gloves. It's not mandatory, but you can wear them.
They say those are dirtier and worse because you don't sanitize them.
Melissa said, I don't want to get into some kind of dispute here. You can talk to Melissa about this, Cynthia. But Melissa says that supposedly if you don't dispose of them immediately, they're just dirty. They pick up the dirt and hold it. So that makes sense, but I'm not an expert in that. Okay. Okay, so another question is, are face masks required for congregants, ushers, greeters, worship team, etc.? As of April 27th, no, it says it's not. But I think it's changed. This is obviously not the newest one. It's changed now, and I wish I would have had the changed one, but I don't. So I probably might not go any further on this.
I have a question. Rick wants to know, what about the people when they
Melissa has a question.
I don't. Rick called and he wants to
Rick Alvarado called and asked Melissa.
What about the people in the foyer? They want to hang out and they don't listen.
Yeah, there is no hanging out. I mentioned that in the beginning of this, and I'll repeat it again. Keep in mind, our ushers, guys, are just there to enforce what our church needs to be safe. Anything the usher tells you, for the most part, is because I've asked them to. So when you listen to the ushers, you're listening to me for the most part. We can't have hanging out. And let me give you a case in point. As much as I love our kids, many of them like to hang out in the prayer room or hanging out in the foyer. It's most of the time it's okay, but with COVID, we can't do that. So I need you to pay attention to your kids, teenagers. I need your help, teenagers. I would think that most of our teenagers, you're not in that little child stage. You're a young adult. I need y'all teenagers to help me with that. Don't hang out in the foyer. Don't hang out in the prayer room. Don't hang out in the bathroom, because we're trying to eliminate the possibility of transmission from COVID. So if the ushers ask you, maybe if you forget for a moment and you're having, you start out with a conversation with this one and that one. Next thing you know, 3 or 4 of you are there. Wait a minute, guys, we can't hang out. Let's go back to our seats. We'll text each other or call each other. And you know what? Check this out. If y'all guys are negative, y'all can fellowship, but don't put any big fellowships on as of right now. Right now, I believe it's 10 people, the gatherings right now. But I realize I'm not the city. I can't enforce that. I do know some pastors that are disciplining some people in their churches when they put on big fellowships. I would hope I don't need to do that. I hope you have the common sense to do that. So please practice that. All right. Edward's asking a question. It might be a good idea to put do not enter signs for the small prayer room. Yes, that may be a good idea.
Can you print some tonight?
If you can make those, that would be fine. Edward, it's a good idea. If you want to produce those, make sure they look good though.
Show me the print.
And make them look nice. Okay, that's helpful. Obviously, ushers, you're gonna have to check the building. Check bathrooms, check prayer room. Just basic things that y'all guys do. Don't get lax. Don't get complacent. We got to stay on our toes about this stuff. Last time we live streamed, we opened up church. We had a good run. I think we had church for a little over a month. We had a revival, and then boom. So here we go. All right. Okay, guys. Any other questions out there I could answer on the live chat? Obviously, the more detailed and complicated questions, I would ask you to give me a call, and hopefully I can help you with that. So I'm going to reiterate again. If you're just joining us or you came in late, some basic things that are going to change as we reopen our church. Number one, we're going to ask that you wear these masks. You say, "Oh, Pastor, I didn't have," this is the typical response in Corpus Christi, Texas. "I don't have money to buy a mask," right? Well, we took care of that for you. We got one for you. Here it is. I'll put it on and show you again. Here's a mask. And check this out. It's even got the Door Church logo on the side with a scripture. So it's like wearing a flyer. So you're even evangelizing when you wear it. So very good. So we're going to give this to you free. Okay? We're going to supply that. Now, if you go, "You know what? I'm going to give this away." Well, just remember that. You gave it away, and we're not going to replace it. Okay? So if you lose it, you give it away, oh, man, shucks. I'm sorry that happened. So that's to help with maintaining the spread. So that's going to be a change. That's going to be obvious to see. And then another change is that the ushers are going to ask you questions about how you feel. They're going to take your temperature, and obviously if your temperature is 100 degrees, you're going to be asked to go watch the service live stream somewhere, just not there at the building. If they notice you're coughing, or you're hacking, or you're sneezing nonstop, You go, oh, it's just allergies. That's enough for them to say, well, okay, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we're gonna need you to go live stream somewhere, but you can't come in the building. So the ushers are gonna have to enforce that. I'm believing and I'm pretty confident that we're not gonna have to do that because many of you are already gonna have integrity. In other words, if you feel sick, you're gonna go, you know what? I feel sick. I want to go to church, but guess what? I can't go. I gotta wait till I get better, or I gotta get tested. One or the other. So, well, those are the things that needs to happen. So those are the two biggest changes you're gonna see more than anything. Social distancing's true, and then the altar call. We're gonna keep the altar open, but I don't know if you've gone to like stores or HEB. On the floor, they'll mark a spot to show you where to stand to keep social distance. So on the altar, we're going to mark some areas in the altar with some painter's tape of where you can go and pray. So there should be enough space there for everybody. But, some things you got to consider. If you have children, and, sometimes our children want to go to the altar, don't let them just wander up to their parents. You need to show them where to go or tell them where to go. That's what's going to help it. So those are some things off the bat you're going to see. And then when we dismiss church, we've practiced this before, but we started getting lackadaisical with it toward the end. That, don't just get up and run off, but let the ushers dismiss you, each family at a time. And then there's no fellowshipping in our building. There's no fellowshipping. So we're going to have to not do that for a while, okay? So we can't fellowship or hang out or congregate in any part of the building. We're going to have to, I'm not saying you have to run out of the building, but we can't hang out there. Obviously, if you need a prayer or if you need a counseling, I'm available to you by phone, or if you want to do a video call. Now, Evangelist Pastor Valerio is going to be preaching tomorrow's services, and he's going to preach. But as you should know, of course, you can talk to him and ask him questions. But if you have counseling needs, your pastor is the one that's supposed to take care of that. So just keep in mind for that. Brother Edward is going to be running the services tomorrow. My wife told me my results came back and it came back positive. So I'm not going to be able to attend church with y'all tomorrow. So bummer, but that's the way it is. I have to be the example. Maybe this is happening so that y'all can see the example that I gotta set. I don't know, but I need y'all to just be on top of things. Now remember, the church is open to see souls get saved. Okay, so don't lose sight of that. I know we're like so excited to go back to church. We can't wait to be in worship, see each other. But also remember, when that altar call happens, even though these things are in place, we still got to get people saved. So if you're an altar worker, keep that in mind. Now, obviously, you can't go up to them and tap them and do all that other stuff because of social distancing. But keep in mind, we need to get their information. So we do have to communicate with them somehow. Through your mask. Obviously, your mask has got to be on, and you're going to have to communicate with them somehow. You don't have to get in their face to ask them a question, but you do have to get their attention and say, okay, we're so glad you prayed this morning. Is it okay if we can get your information just to help you in your commitment to serve Jesus? And that's that simple. Okay, so please help us with that. I do expect there to be visitors there. I have been getting phone calls and people saying they want to come back to church who have not been attending church. So we're expecting good things. Okay, Edward's got a question here. Pierce will need the Force. Okay. I don't know who Pierce is, and the Force is Star Wars. We can offer the Holy Spirit. Pierce will need the Force, that no one congregating in a certain area other than just sitting at their seat. Okay. All right. May the Force be with you, Edward.
Ushers will need to enforce.
Okay, ushers. Yeah. They do. Yeah. The ushers will enforce. Now, with that said, that just means listen to the ushers. Don't have an attitude. Don't roll your eyes. Don't be childish. Well, I don't like brother so and so. Listen, this is not about who. Number one, that shouldn't be your attitude with the people you serve God with. If that's your attitude, you need to get saved or forgive people, or you need to break the stronghold of bitterness in your life. If that's the case, the issue is I care about other people coming to my church, and I want to help. I want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. That should be your attitude. So if the ushers tell us something, they're not saying it because they want to give us a hard time and frustrate our lives. They're being told, and they also want to help the church. Okay. All right. Is that everything? It's 8:57. We started this live stream at 8. I started speaking about 8:15. I think no more than 15 or 19 people got on.
19.
So hopefully the majority of our church has heard this. Have you noticed that somebody did not get on live stream? Can you please call them after this and just reach out to them, or maybe send them the link? I just want people to be informed. I don't want y'all tomorrow fumbling and this becomes a distraction. I don't want the social distancing and the mask and all those things to be like this big distraction. I want us, yes, we gotta navigate through it, but the main thing is we gotta keep the main thing, guys. The main thing is that we need the Word of God. We need Jesus to help us, to touch us. We want to glorify God. So those are the main things. We got to put Jesus on the throne of what we do. Okay, I believe that is all. I hope I covered everything tonight. If y'all guys need me to repeat something right now, please type that in. Y'all need me to repeat something, let me know before I disconnect. Now, if you don't need me to repeat anything and you say, okay, I got it, Pastor, I'm with you, I'm going to be part of the solution, not part of the problem, then you're free to leave this live stream if you want. But if you have a question or something, go ahead. All right. Yes, happy birthday, Veronica. Sister Veronica's birthday today. I hope she has had a great birthday, and we thank God for her. Amen. All right.
You gotta literature. I have a question. Do you need everybody, like, you don't need everybody to police each other, get in a fight, and the ushers will do it, or what?
What does that mean?
Like, hey, you're not supposed to be there, and then everybody's.
That's their personality. I can't stop them from being antagonistic.
Okay.
My wife brought up the point. The ushers, and Brother Edward, the leaders and the ushers. It's really their job to enforce things. So if you see somebody not listening to a lot of these things, just let one of the leaders know. Don't be antagonistic. I can't make you not be antagonistic, but I'm going to ask you not to be. If you would just do your part, if everybody would just take care of what they got to do, it'll all work out. But don't be antagonistic to each other, or be in other words, don't be bossy. Okay, the way the church operates is we have to put leaders and people in place to delegate things. So be a blessing for that. Be a blessing to everybody. Have the victory. Have the victory. Just love Jesus and love people, and leave the rest to God. All right. All right. Well, guys, I don't see any other questions. If anybody has any deeper questions or more complex questions, maybe you have a certain situation, or I don't know what you may have, feel free to call me. I'm going to be here at the house. me and my wife will not be able to be joining you tomorrow in church. We're going to have to watch live stream. And we're bummed out by that, but that's okay. We're going to get through this time. Eventually, we're not going to have COVID. Eventually. So be praying for us. We feel great. And we love y'all guys. And we look forward to fellowshipping with y'all real soon. And we're going to believe God for good things. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Y'all have a blessed evening. Be ready, up and ready early for church tomorrow. And have a revival. Have a revival. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus. God bless y'all guys. Good night.